Ladies and gentlemen, welcome! Today we are going to be covering a series I'm super excited about, finally getting another entry, and that I've grown up on since my early gaming days. I'm talking about none other than Mafia. With this entry titled Mafia The Old Country being the fourth game in the series, and a prequel to all the rest in the series so far, today we are going to be covering every hidden detail in the trailer of Mafia The Old Country, and what it could mean in relation to the plot, along with major developmental stuff that is going on with the game that's important to its release date and gameplay. So if any of that interests you, make sure to stick around, but of course, right before we jump into all of that, make sure to scroll down and hit that like button and make it glow as we reach out for our goal of 25 likes for this video. And while you're down there, consider hitting the subscribe button as we'll be covering Mafia The Old Country as more news comes out, and other AAA games moving forward throughout the year. But without further ado, sit back, relax, and pour up a fresh drink as we talk about everything we know about Mafia The Old Country. Let's start from the top by breaking down the teaser trailer itself. Now the trailer, as you know, starts off with a character pouring themselves some wine, which is displayed here in sound and on the table in front of you in the trailer, but looking to the left, we see statues of Moor's head. This tale is interesting and may foreshadow something we will see as a major plot point in the game. To sum up the mythos a little bit, usually the Moor's head are represented as a man wearing a turban representing the east and a woman with a crown representing the west, both usually embellished with jewelry, flowers, and citrus fruits. There are various stories about the heads, but one in particular is in line with something we will see later in the trailer, with it being a tale of jealousy and betrayal. The legend says that during the time of the Moors' occupation in Sicily, there lived an exceptionally beautiful girl in the Arab quarter of Palermo, whose passion was to take care of the plants on her balcony. One day, she was noticed by a Moor who immediately fell in love with her, and she apparently immediately felt the same way, and they embarked on a whirlwind romance. When the girl found out that her lover would soon travel back to the east where a wife and children were awaiting him, she was overcome with jealousy and grief. Humiliated by the betrayal in a fit of jealous anger, the girl murdered the Moor while he was asleep. She cut off his head and used it as a vase. In it, she planted basil buds which she watered with her tears, and other neighbors ended up envying the basil so much, they ordered ceramic versions of that quote-unquote vase, which was her lover's head of course, and it's the reason people believe it's a common item in Sicily, having a vase shaped as the Moor's head. A pretty twisted tale, but one of jealousy and betrayal as stated before, and a trend you're going to be seeing later on in the trailer as well, with another mythos that goes kind of hand in hand with this one. Going on to the next shot in the teaser, we have a sawed-off shotgun that's known to many of Italian descent as the Lupara. This could signify not only some of the weaponry we can come to expect in the game and be able to use, but this weapon can be traced back to the 1890s and was primarily used by sheep herders to safeguard their sheep from wolves. Lupara originally means for the wolf, as it was used to hunt wolves and later on became a staple in the Sicilian mafia arsenal. This could also be a play on words to, as many mafia stories go, hunting the wolf among sheep's clothing, as there are common tales of betrayals in these stories. On the next shot, we have the person speaking in the trailer saying, "This thing of ours, it's a brotherhood, treachery and deceit do not exist among us." And while he says treachery, a painting is shown on screen. This painting in particular is based off of the mythos of Acis and Galatea. This painting shows the story of love and beauty between Acis and Galatea, which also points to major jealousy just like the Moor's head mythos, which also results in a death. In this story, a mortal named Acis and the sea nymph named Galatea fell in love, and a jealous cyclops by the name of Polyphemus kills Acis by falling into a fit of rage and throwing a boulder at him, which is depicted here in the painting. Galatea then retreats into the sea and eventually transforms her lover into an immortal river spirit. Now we have two artistic representations in the teaser trailer that represent some sort of love that stems into betrayal or death, which leads me to believe this is going to be a major plot development in the story of this game as well. And in both essences, the main love interest that's a male eventually lives on eternally even though they died in the beginning. Which again is something that could totally happen in terms of the plot. Maybe the main protagonist dies, but their story lives on and is eternal. Maybe the main character falls in love with the Don's wife and he pays the price. maybe the eventual main love interest in the story has enough of your cheating and takes you down at the end. Your guess is as good as mine on that front, but overall, I think this is a story that isn't going to end well for our protagonist. Next on up, we have the shot of what appears to be the stiletto or switchblade, which again appears to be another weapon we will be seeing and are able to use, which traces of this blade in particular are traceable back to the mid to late 1800s. After that scene, we have another shot showing a card showing Santa Rosalia, nicknamed Santuza or the Little Saint. This is important because she is especially important internationally as a saint invoked in times of plague, and in terms of Palermo, Sicily, is revered as the patron saint. I think this is going to have a dual meaning. This is probably going to be the saint that they pledge their fealty to when they go ahead and cut their hand with the stiletto that's shown on the trailer to do their blood brotherhood tie-in. And I think that this is also tying in that in real life, in the early 1900s, Italian immigration was at an all-time high and was fueled by poverty, hardship, exploitation, malnutrition, and of course, also disease being common and widespread, leading a lot of people looking to better days at different countries, primarily the United States. And could be the tie-in we have with the other games of families eventually coming over from abroad in Italy, and the reason that they end up in Lost Haven. Last but definitely not least in terms of hidden meanings and what could or could not be an Easter egg, we have one right before the major last shot, focusing on the city. We have a lemon peering out on the balcony where the view is taking place. Yes, that's right, even the lemons are getting categorized by me as an Easter egg for this trailer. Now, let me explain. Lemons are considered back in the day in Italy as symbolizations of valuable luxury and as a symbol of prosperity, possibly pointing to the prosperity and growth the Mafia found during this time, and then the life of luxury that they're able to live off because of it. At the very end, we see we will be getting more details about this game coming December, which we can only assume is going to be the next Jeff Keighley event, since this game was revealed at Gamescom, being the Game Awards happening on December 12th, where I will be expecting not only a gameplay trailer, and more of a teaser on where the plot will be going, and the family will be following along with this time, but also a full release date, if not at least a release window for the game. This game is slated to come out in 2025, and so is what could be the biggest game of our generation with Grand Theft Auto 6. And with it being another 2K game, and just from a profit standpoint, I doubt they will want it to come out around the same time to be competing with one another. So this makes me believe that we will see a summer release date for Mafia The Old Country to give it some time to breathe before the eventual full-on takeover in gaming of GTA 6 during the fall. When it comes from the developmental side and more details we got outside of the trailer, here is what we have. This game is a bona fide prequel to the entire series so far, being set in the brutal underworld of early 1900s Sicily, which will explore the origins of the Mafia and organized crime in general. This game has been reportedly in development since at least 2022 and is being built upon the Unreal 5 engine, so this game is bound to look beautiful once we get actual full-on gameplay to look at. On top of that, recently, it was revealed through social media on Twitter that Mafia The Old Country will also be playable in a full Sicilian dub in line with the game's setting of 1900 Sicily. So not only will the story and setting be as immersive as ever and look as great as ever, but even the language and sounds will truly immerse you into the time and setting if you so wish. Also, after the teaser trailer dropped, we got some additional screenshots for the game to show off the game's engine and feel, but without context to anything that seems too important to the game's plot. For me, the only things that were really of note for the screenshots is that they looked really good for what is shown. The interior of the building screenshot reminds me of the first chapter from Mafia 2, and that we get a very light tease of vehicles that we can expect to see when it comes to the screenshot with the car that's lighting the way for a burial that's being carried out. They've also come out and said that this game in particular will be action brought to life by authentic realism and will be focusing on having a heavily narrative-driven, rich storytelling experience the series is known for. Hangar 13 has also been hands-on with other 2K games in terms of helping with gameplay for other titles, and has been hiring for AI positions in the company for assumingly enemy AI gameplay loops. So if they bring them into this game, refine them, and make them their own, Mafia's gameplay could be better for it. Overall though, that is everything in terms of details you may have missed in the teaser trailer, references, and other details revealed outside of the trailer. Let me know in the comments down below, are you excited for the new entry into the Mafia franchise? And of course, if I missed anything in the teaser trailer myself. Personally, I'm super excited for this new entry, and even finding all these references that are possible teases to the story was a lot of fun for me. I personally always love these plots that are crafted for Mafia type stories, and I'm sure this one is going to be no different. Even with the very divisive Mafia 3, I, like a lot of people, was not a fan of the gameplay loop, but the story kept me coming back for more until I eventually finished the game. And Mafia 1 and 2 are some of my favorite games ever and had some of the best Mafia plots that I've seen to this day. I can't wait to see what's in store for us at the Game Awards, and you bet I'll be right there live during it, crossing my fingers for an amazing gameplay reveal trailer. Also, really quick, as we reach the end of the video here, huge announcement for the channel. We have new membership tiers and perks available for the channel. If you're interested in going an extra step and supporting the channel while getting some cool perks in return, consider becoming a member and get the opportunity to be listed at the end of videos, just like this one. As always though, your support through your viewership, liking, and subscribing is always appreciated and helps me out tremendously against the gabagool that is the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Peace!